Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you your match review of today's 1-0 win over Wolves in the Nuno derby, which makes us 2 games, 2 goals, 2 clean sheets, and 2 wins. What more do we want, guys? Look, we are joined by co-host Jack Kanicki. We are joined by Philip as well, and we will be joined by the one and only Marcelo as well. But look, we'll start with Jack. Jack, how are you, my man?
Keeping really well, David. 2 games, 6 points, 2 goals. It's honestly a bit hard for, the heart rate. Maybe it's a bit, too exhilarating maybe to start this way. But I will say a Nuno we trust, and a Nuno we will continue to trust, David.
100%. And definitely trust him. Look, people thought the opening 6 games would be hard. We're 2 from 2 already, 4 more to go. Let's see how we get on. But Philip, my man, how are things with you?
Oh, great. I mean, couldn't be better. Sunday afternoon, Spurs win, clean sheet, Arsenal get beaten. They don't get much better than that.
Honestly, Philip, I could get used to this vibe on a Sunday evening. You know what I mean? Spurs winning, I could get used to it. I really could. It's been a long, long time coming since we've seen these smiles on Spurs fans, which is absolutely brilliant. But look, let's welcome a few of the Harris Army in. We have Ewan O'Connor says, "Come on, you Spurs." We have Philip, who was in here nice and early. He's definitely pumped. He's definitely excited. He says, "Come on, you Spurs." He says, "Guys." Chris says, "Guys, not the most impressive display, but big 3 points away to a difficult team. Hard to beat. I'm on you." Chris, sometimes they're the best victories when you feel like you've literally robbed them. You know what I mean? Wearing a balaclava and robbing them. Sometimes, maybe it's a bit like feeling what Ben Davies feels like every day of the week, Chris. But it was a good win, my man. It was a good win. Absolutely robbed them. And sometimes they're the best ones when you enjoy them more. Dark Sun G21 says, "Come on, you Spurs. What's important is that we got 3 points. Adama end product is lacking, but his power and speed is scary. If we get him, it wouldn't be that bad. Top 3 of Son, Adama, and Lucas or Stevie." Dark Sun G, what I will say is honestly, you may as well just hire Usain Bolt if you want someone that's strong and fast. Because at the end of the day, Roadrunner Traore, he has absolutely no end product whatsoever. Yeah, look, he caused us an absolute nuisance. He was causing a riot even when he switched over to the other side. But at the end of the day, what did they get? 27 shots, I think it was. No goals. Last week, 17 shots, no goals. So, look, the guy needs to definitely improve his end product before we get him at Tottenham, my man. Big up, Dark Sun G. Dele Alli scored. We didn't predict that, man. We didn't predict that. Me and you both got caught out, but Dele Alli was the match winner, my man. And he also says, hopefully we can get goals versus Watford next week. I hope Son is okay. If we don't have him, we are in trouble. Yeah, of course. And look, we will be giving you a bit of what Nuno sort of said, about Sonny as well. And don't worry, we have all everything covered. Dark Sun G. Adam says, "Well, lads, hope you're all in good form after that result. Come on, you Spurs, and big up the Harris Army. Big yourself up, Adam, my man. I hope things are well." Jake Fowler says, "If we could get Traore and he developed a consistent end product, my word, what a player he could be." Yeah, 100%. But look, that's why Barcelona let him go when he was there under the Area Academy, because he had no end product. So look, it doesn't look like he's gonna get it anytime soon, Jakey boy. Big yourself up for the comment. Dylan Thomas says, "Scary how Lucas and Jaffa went missing. I thought Dele showed great effort and discipline today. Looking forward to your point of view." Yeah, Dele Alli, I thought was actually very good today. I'll be honest. He's doing a lot of the work I never thought I'd ever see him do, Dylan. So big yourself up, my man, and I appreciate you tuning in. Daniel Phillips says, "Adam, thank you for informing us." He says, Adam is here. Fun fact, the Scum haven't scored a single goal so far this season. Yeah, look, it's a great day to be a Spurs fan. It's a great day. Dan N says 3 points is 3 points. We need to get one of our creators settled into the midfield. 100%, my man. I couldn't agree more. William McKenzie, big yourself up. I hope things are well. Good evening to you, or good morning or afternoon. What shall I say? Let me know. Let me know. We have Zoe in the building. Big up, Zoe. I hope things are well with you. And says, "Evening, lads."
Big up, Zoe.
Up. We have Enoch Nurses. Big up the Irish Hotspur on the panel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Jerry says, hashtag Harris Army. Big up, Jerry. And also says, "Hey, if we score 38 goals and win them all, 1-0. I'll be thrilled. Yeah, 100%. I'd take that. I don't care how we win, as long as we win, man. Smasher, big yourself up, hope things are well. Dark G says, I was scared when Mr. Easy Pass came on. Honestly, I was starting to panic. Panic stations were hitting. And sometimes I feel like maybe Nuno's trying to make me like this player, Dark G. I feel like maybe he's trying to make me like him. It's never going to happen. It's never going to work. But yeah, 100%. My heart was in my mouth, my man. My heart was in my mouth. But Dark G, let me know who your standout performer was today. Tyler D says, standard process. I see the live stream pop up. You know, a like is coming. Thank you so much, my man. I really appreciate that. Top man. Make sure you do smash that like. Peter from the lane, come on, you Spurs. Big up, Peter. Hope things are well with you and the young lad. Ian Ferguson up the Spurs. Come on. Kais, brilliant, Ian. A great win today, my man. I'd say we're all chuffed. Lewis Titmus says, will we get any more transfer business done this window? I have sort of like a transfer question in there, 100%. Don't worry, we'll get on to that, my man. Wayne Bonner, I hope things are well. I hope you enjoyed the victory. Since the Arsenal fans said they wanted Champions League, the players thought they said championship. Yeah, 100%. It looks like where they're heading. They're sitting there in relegation. Now, you can't beat it. Sean Moran says, big up Nuno. Come on, you Spurs. Big up Brad Matthews as well. I hope things are well. Dermot from Tottenham Tantrum. Good evening, my man. Says, hey, guys. Good win. 2 wins in a row to clean sheets. Delhi first goal since March 2020. 100% Dermot. Great win. And another clean sheet. He says, Brad is saying the beer's gone, but Ben and Jerry's about to be consumed. Absolutely love it. Let me know what flavour, my man. ATM Nerd says, it's a shame that COVID had to save Ben White from being bullied by Lukaku. Yeah, that's a great one. I love that. Bob Spur TV for the second game in a row. I was confident they weren't going to score. Dyer messed up with Sanchez. Bar one minor hiccup was greater of the two. Bob, look, you've done it again. I politely disagree, my man. I politely disagree. I actually think Dyer was the better to do it today. But I can see where you're coming from. I see your point. There's a cause for them both, to be honest. Rory AG says 40 million is how much he's worth to Wolves, not to Tottenham. 100%. Yeah. He's not even worth a goal to Wolves. That's what I'd say to you, Rory. Lex Luthor says we need 6p in the next 2 games, or 6 points in the next 2 games. Then Chelsea home. Hope Romero and maybe Ndombele will be in the squad by then. Look, Ndombele, it's Ndom bye-bye. He's finished. Nuno doesn't want him. Killian Kenny says, night, lads. What a fantastic day. I had my second dose of my jab and Spurs are winning. I hope things are good with you, man. Hope things are all right. Dark Sun G says, today. How did Skip get booked? Yeah, look, that was a joke. Honestly, it was one of the cleanest tackles I've ever seen in my life, Dark Sun G. So clean. You know, the cleaning products wanted to sponsor him. It was absolutely the best tackle I've seen in a long, long time from a player. Come in from behind, cleanly took the ball, didn't touch the player. He got a booking, and look, Don Paratici wasn't happy about it, was he, Jack?
No, he definitely was not. Again, probably another game where, probably Steve Fitchen, came out of it with, a purple shoulder from all the times that, Paratici, was slugging him, telling him, who we should be getting, what the referee is getting wrong. And then as well, David, I will say maybe this was another game where, it seems like Man City are more concerned about paying off the refs, instead of maybe paying the fee for Harry Kane. It seems like, because honestly, the last game, the referee was atrocious. And then this one, I will say as well, maybe multiple players on Wolves should have gone off in handcuffs, David. It really was an atrocious display.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Look, sure, Atwell was doing his best to try and help Wolves today. At the end of the day, you can't beat Tottenham Dark Sunday. That's what I say, my man. Let's welcome a few more people in, and then we're going to ask Marcelo how he is, and then we're going to get into it. We have an action-packed show tonight, guys. Don't you worry about that. Terry Bishop, hey, Jack and Irish Hotspur, how are you? I'm buzzing with the result, and I had a scummer 19th. Yeah, we're absolutely buzzing off our tits, man. Don't worry about that. That's what Tottenham can do to you, when they do things right and everyone's fighting for the one cause, Terry. And, of course, as soon as we're finished here, it's definitely going to be a bit of AFTV and chill. It's definitely send me off to sleep. Willie McKenzie, morning, David and Jack. I'm living off 3 hours sleep, but I'm happy. Of course you are, man. You're high off live. You're going off the fumes of Tottenham winning. I absolutely love it. Stephen Batt says Spurs not on fire, but 6 points out of 6. Can't fault it. Come on, you Spurs. No, you can't, my man. No, you cannot. Dan N is in the building. Big yourself up. Slow Jamrod. Happy days. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up. Hope things are well. Vince, please, says, I thought Sanchez and Eric were good defensively. Yeah, well, look, we'll wait. We'll see how the panel thought of their performances today. Shamu, big yourself up. I hope things are well. Lappers 82 is in the building. Big up, David and Jack. 2 wins. Get in. Big yourself up, Lap. And Jack, look, we'll take this and then we'll get into some of the questions, guys. But before we do take the super chat, everyone, make sure you do smash the like on the stream, guys. Make sure you do smash the subscribe on the channel if you're new. The big push for 5K is on. We recently got over 4K on a 9-month anniversary, more or less. So it was absolutely great. And look, guys, get your super chats in. It is a great way to help support the channel. Sometimes we have an action-packed chat here. So if you genuinely do want your comment read out, or you want us to get to it quicker than others, get the super chat in and jump the queue, guys. Jump the queue. But Jack, Dark Song G says my standout was Reggie or Sanchez, surprisingly.
Yeah, Dark Sun G, if your standout was Reggie and Sanchez, that's definitely an interesting one. I haven't heard that one yet. I will say Reggie, I think, was definitely, very maybe not someone that maybe we keep mentioning as maybe being a bit consistent, but he seems to be playing quite well, especially with, handling these overloads, handling these overlapping runs. I would say Dark Sun G seems to be able to hand two players at once, quite well. But Sanchez, let me know, Dark Sun G, Dave and I had a debate about it, with the player rating. Personally, I thought Sanchez was better than Dyer. I don't think they were really both that great, but personally, I thought Sanchez was a bit better than Dyer this last game. But let me know, Dark Sun G, in the comments, and I'd really like to know, why you think Sanchez was maybe more of a standout than Moon Boots. But then as well, Dark Sun G saying Stevie B is getting better, and that one-on-one with Kane. Oh yeah, that honestly, and David as well. We can't give that skill enough more credit than what Stevie B was doing there. I mean, some of the players, they're still looking, for him on the sidelines there. They probably thought he disappeared. They probably thought he pulled a magic trick. And then as well, with Harry Kane, I was a bit disappointed that he went, through the legs. I thought he should have just buried it top bins. But I kind of understand, Harry Kane, he's a cool, calm, collected guy. He probably did think that, going through the legs there was probably the smartest idea. But yeah, that was honestly another huge chance. I think a lot of people are forgetting that, despite, maybe how the stats didn't make us look so great. We just had huge clear-cut chances that we really didn't bury at all. So I will say, we have to definitely take that into consideration. But big up Dark Sun G.
100%. Look, Dark Sun G, when it comes to Stevie B, it's the same thing we keep talking about, end product. But I will get into a bit of Stevie B in a while. I do have a little bit I want to say on that. Welcome, Thomas James Smith. Big yourself up. Brian C, I hope things are well, my man. Says Spurs grinding out the win, rescued the weekend for me. Come on, you Spurs, and come on, you Rebels. Yeah, look, I hope you had a good weekend. Great win for Tottenham today, my man. Let me know if you enjoyed it. And I hope you had a good weekend. And Paul Markey here, Jack. And then we'll get into some of the questions. He says, David Sanchez was a league better than Dyer. Don't forget, Dyer lost the ball that was put to Adama for the one-on-one that Super Lloris said. Yeah, no, 100%. I get all that. Look, maybe I'll tell you quickly why I think. Look, Sanchez, it's anytime the ball goes in behind him, he can't deal with it. It went in behind him a few times today. He got caught out with it a lot of times today, especially there was one in the first half down the wing where, he slowed down for some reason and just let Adama and Traore take the ball and take off. It seems to be the same old problem with this guy. But look, I get what you're saying, Paul Markey. Look, for me, it is a toss-up between the two. They've both equally done some bad things and some good things. And I will politely disagree with you, shall I say. I do think maybe Dyer, for me, I think he was better at the two. But I can understand why people would say Sanchez. But look, at the end of the day, Paul Markey, what a save by Hugo, my man. What a save by Hugo, I have to say. Absolutely great save. And Paul Markey, I really appreciate the support, man. I really do. Jack, do you want to say anything to Paul Markey quickly before we get on to Dan Phillips' Super Chat?
No, I think a lot of the Harris Army, David, they're not letting you be this kind of moon boots. They're maybe keeping you, in hold. They're keeping you in question here. Maybe the Harris Army is maybe a bit nicer to GPS Sanchez as well, though I would say maybe I kind of agree that, Sanchez was better than Dyer. The only thing I would say with Sanchez, it seems like he has to fall to the floor at any time he's trying to clear his lines. Maybe he's just trying to smell the grass, David. He has to seem to, fall down any single time he needs to clear the ball. But I will say he does do a much better job at clearing his lines than Dyer did, especially today.
Yeah, interesting you say that. Look, for me, I think some of his clearance were just going straight back to Wolves players at times. I think maybe his area is better that he's clearing them into, or at least make the Wolves player turn so that you can get out a little bit. But no, look, like I said, it's at the end of the day, the both were part of the clean sheet. That's all that matters. Daniel Phillips says, Watford and Palace next 4 games, 12 points. We have Watford next, then the international break, then Palace after the international break. Then we're into Chelsea and Arsenal, 2 very, very hotly contested games, Dan Phillips. Look, we could definitely go into them 2 London derbies with 12 points. It's definitely gettable. Look, Palace, they don't look great under Patrick Vieira, to be honest with you. And Watford, their only threat is more or less Ismail Sarr, my man. So I wouldn't expect too many problems against either of them, to be honest with you. So big yourself up, my man. I really appreciate the support, my man. It really goes down well, Daniel Phillips. Thank you so much. And Dark Zone G says, last time Mr. 33 played, we drew 1-1 with Reggie, 1-0. Yeah, look, Davies just had that switch off from the corner. Let Wolves get the equaliser. But look, obviously, yeah, Reggie's in. That's a big plus. But I'd say fitness probably has a bit to do with it as well, my man. I'd say fitness maybe plays a part with it as well, Dark Zone G. Yeah, and look, I love the way you still call him Mr. 33. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it. You really do love it.
He's good. He's always up to date. He's always up to date with the nicknames, David. He's always up to date with them.
And let me know if you've any stats for me today, Dark Sun G. We need a few stats off you. Let us know if you've any stats. And then Matthew Morgan says, we were poor today and ripped apart more than once. A lot of Deadwood still here, and that scares me. Yeah, look, it is starting to be a bit concerning. We will actually talk a little bit maybe on the window on Paratici. I know Marcelo has some thoughts on this. And I kind of take some of the good points that Marcelo has made. I also take points that other people have made, basically thinking that he's not a Don. There are some valid points there. Look, at the end of the day, where I sit on this is the man can't do everything in one window. The fact that it took us so long to get a manager, everything else has been a knock-on effect. So he probably, again, look, I know he came in late as well after his contract finished with Juventus. So look, maybe it's just one that we just have to suck it up this window and hopefully improve on it next window, Matthew. But I agree. Look, there's a hell of a lot of Deadwood. We've seen a lot of them. We've seen definitely 3 of them the other night against Pacos and the same results. Pacos, Colchester, Zagreb, and there's another game in there, Antwerp last year. These players play in them, and we just lose the games that we shouldn't be losing.
Rely on them.
Yeah. So we have
play now, John. Play now, John, against Pacos. Play like the youngsters. Can't rely on these.
No, I agree. I'm getting to the
unreliable.
No, I'm getting to the point where I agree with you. Just give the youngsters a go. Just give them a go. I can take them results knowing we had youngsters out there, rather than take them knowing that we have players out there who still think they're good enough for the club, who still get defended week in, week out, and just do nothing. The same results happening.
200K a week.
Yeah, 100. Yeah,
Crazy.
Look, and again, ripping off the club. But Matthew Morgan, Jack, if you hadn't said to Matthew, and then we'll get into the questions, and we'll get Philip and Marcelo's thoughts.
No, really big yourself up, Matthew Morgan, for the support. But maybe, Matthew, just to maybe cheer yourself up a bit, I would say, Wolves have just looked like a much better team than they maybe were last season. Let's remind ourselves that, I do think they've actually, brought in some good players. The likes of Trincao. I will say Trincao looked like a very good player, as well as, with Adama Traore seemingly improving his physical play even more. He seems to have gotten even quicker, even stronger. He's jumping even higher, which is making it very, very difficult for even someone like Tanganga. And then as well, with the Jimenez coming back, you do have to admit that, the Wolves team is going to be a lot better than they were last season. And it's never been easy against Wolves. It's never been easy. They've always been a bit of a bogey team, you might say. And it's also as well, you might say that they gave also Leicester a tough game, David. It's not like Leicester really came out of that game thinking that they deserved the 1-0. I'm probably pretty sure the Leicester fans and even Brendan Rodgers were quite, thankful that they came out of that game with 1-0. Maybe the same that we felt. So I would say, it's just how maybe it's gone against Wolves. It's maybe just been a bit unfortunate for them and then a bit lucky for the other team.
Yeah, and I will say Wolves will get found out eventually. Teams are just working out how to play against them. You haven't got too much to go off with Bruno Laga. So, look, maybe when we get them at home, it might be just that little bit easier, Matthew. But I agree with you. Your point still stands. Deadwood have to go, my man. They have to go. But look, Jack, let's get into it. Let's let's get Philip and Marcelo's thoughts, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Philip. So what's your general reaction from this game? What's like your general thoughts, maybe even your general feelings? Is this filling you with the, delusional optimism, maybe delusional pride? What are you feeling after maybe, this type of this game and even having 6 points after 2 games?
Yeah, well, I think when the fixtures came out, I think most of us saw the first match against City as probably a tough start, to put it mildly. We came through that, we won. We've come through today. We've won. Wolves always give us a difficult game. I won't say they're a bogey team, but they've beaten us at our place And I think it's taken a couple of, I think Jan Vertonghen last minute goal a couple of seasons ago to beat them off there. Plus the fact their ex-manager was coming back. And that was always a bonus, a boost for them to go harder against us. So I think, that was a word. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to push this forward over the next few matches. We certainly have winnable games. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a better start than probably any of us could have hoped for. 6 points after 2 games.
Interesting. And Marcelo, what are the feelings that you're having after this game? Is it, to you, is it, delusional optimism? Are you kind of, starting to, believe maybe that, this team could actually achieve something this year? Are you maybe thinking that, it's just 2 very important games, to get the boys started off in the right place? How are you feeling about this kind of game?
I don't want to sound too like I'm being negative. I think back-to-back wins, Premier League, especially when we saw the fixture, no Kane, no striker. It's a really good achievement from Nuno, especially under the circumstances that you put him in. Not sure whether Kane was going to play, and Nobele situation also isn't easy. He's sorting out which one he wants to be part of his plan, which player he wants to be part of his plan. So, there's a lot of things to play under Nuno at the beginning of the season, but I think it was good. I felt like it was a little bit back to reality. I did think we got away with one. I'm just going to be real. I think we got away with one. Let's be like, Wolves pumped us for a good minute there, and it should have. Traore had any finishing, should have been. But it's a little bit like, I think Nuno can definitely work with this team, but I think he's going to need a couple more signings.
Interesting. And then David, to you, how are you feeling now with 6 points, 2 games, maybe only 2 goals, but also 2 clean sheets, which maybe hasn't been mentioned, maybe despite, the defensive shakiness. How are you feeling?
No, look, I'm absolutely delighted. I'll be honest with you. If someone would have told me it took us 80-odd days over the summer to get a manager in, that we were still going to have, as it stands, Winks, Davies, Sissoko, Aurier, Dyer, I would have even said Sanchez at the time. And there's a couple of others in there that I've probably missed, but still have all these players, only get 3 in. And you're going to have 2. You're going to play City at home and then Wolves away, which has been notoriously a very tough place for us to go over the years. If that we would have come out of there with 2 clean sheets and 6 points, I would have snapped your hands off. I would have broke your fingers back. I'm not messing. So for me, look, it's in a way, it's bittersweet because it's the best possible scenario, but I'm not delusional enough to know that we will have serious problems going on in the season. I'm at the point where I actually think that Nuno is doing the best with what he's got, but he needs help now in the transfer window. We need a centre midfielder. We need a right back. Look, Tanganga has a history of injuries. So, how long are we going to get out of him? So we do need to get another right back because Doherty is not good enough to come in. We know that. We need a ball-playing midfielder, someone who's comfortable on the ball, a tempo setter. And then we do need another centre-back, I would say, because looking at Dyer and Sanchez today, although we kept a clean sheet, it does seem like maybe a bit of the pass is creeping back in. I know we have Romero to come in. We have Rode now injured. Look, maybe we might get away with it for the season, not getting a centre-back, but I think centre midfield urgently. If we get an injury in there, we are in big, big trouble.
Definitely. And speaking of that center mid, speaking of that tempo setter, Marcelo, is that maybe the most important role? Do you feel like that is kind of maybe missing? Because it seems like, we're struggling, with keeping possession. We're a bit reliant on the long ball, maybe a bit reliant on the counterattack. Do you feel like maybe that tempo setter is a bit more important than maybe we thought before?
I think so. I think we do need a tempo setter. I think playing 2 holding midfielders and Skip and Højbjerg, it's a little bit just too defensive. It's a little bit not enough, flair. I think against the bigger teams where we're going to need the counterattack, I think Skip and Højbjerg are perfect together. Yeah. But I think in a team where we should be having the ball a little bit more, should have a little bit more possession, a little bit more freedom, we should be playing, that tempo setter. And that tempo setter, we were supposed to have him, but he's not here. And we'll get on to him later. I'm not even going to say his name. But, yeah, no, a tempo setter is definitely important. But what I also saw, I think, was just as important. We need a ball-playing center back. I don't know what everybody else is smoking on Twitter. I did not think Dyer and Sanchez looked that great today. I thought Sanchez had a a few good pings. Okay, he every time the ball came into him, he sent it long. My grandmother can do that. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to just send it long. Like I don't get how that's good defending. A top defender, gets the ball, control it, gets it to the midfield. The midfield did not see the ball today. It was just defense to attack because our defense can't get the ball to the midfield. And that's the thing that killed me today. Both Dyer and Sanchez, for me, in my opinion, were the reason why we were pressed so easily. They were awful, in my opinion. I think Reguilon was our best defender. He was fantastic. He was getting the ball out. He was getting the ball out to the midfield, to the offense. He was fantastic, and he was defensively also very good, which is important. But in my opinion, Romero, we need him in real badly, and we might need another ball-playing center back because I'm sorry, I was not impressed by today.
Would you, if you had the choice, if you could only pick one, who would you rather have? That tempo
Sanchez.
setter in midfield or the center back? To fix that ball playing ability that we're missing.
Man, I still would rather have another center back with Romero. I still would rather have a ball playing center back with Romero. I think we do have a little bit of choices in the midfield. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Lo Celso. I thought he didn't have when he came in,
he was
I don't think
awful against Pacos Marcelo. He was awful.
I know, but I think he can grow into the game, and I think he can grow into the season. I thought it might, and also he didn't have anybody in the midfield. You know what I mean? Like, let's be really
his job, right? If he's going to be in the midfield, think about this. If he's going to be in midfield as a ball player, right? The other's job is to win the ball. So it's up to him. Like, he has to be good enough to be able to get on the ball and dictate it, go left, go right, quicken it up, slowing it down, keep possession.
But David,
he's going to have to do that single-handedly. Whoever getting to put in that midfield is going to have to do that single-handedly.
David, you know, as a midfielder, as a person who's played in the midfield, when you have useless players like fucking Harry Winks, it's really hard to do anything. When you're relying on Harry Winks and Niles John. I mean, no offense to Niles John. He seems like a great youngster, but he's still a youngster. When those two are your only midfield options to play with, it is very hard to play that.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is if we buy a tempo setter, they're not going to come in and play with Harry Winks. The idea is that they come in and play with Højbjerg and Skip, or a Højbjerg and an Ali combo.
No, but what I'm saying is maybe Lo Celso, we can make him to that guy. Maybe if we play with them, he can improve. Like, great players, when you play around great players, you improve. And I thought when he came in, he looked good today. He stole the ball. I think he made a great interception. He started a good counter. I thought he looked good today. But I'm not really looking at that Paco's performance because, I mean, we literally played the Deadwood. And you can put Harry Kane, and he looks like shit with the Deadwood.
But it doesn't, like, I get it, he's playing with the Deadwood, but he still should, whether he's playing with Deadwood or not, he still should be standing out head and shoulders above some of them players, and he didn't.
But it's not like that all the time. I mean, sometimes Harry Kane has a bad game because of that.
Well, it's like that most of the time with Lo Celso. This is the problem with the guy. It's like that most of the time. Bar that one little stint he had at the back end of one season under Jose Mourinho, what has he actually done?
No, he hasn't done much, but he has had a lot of injuries. And he's been very misfortunate. But are you going to sell Lo Celso over Winks? Are you going to sell Lo Celso?
I'm not saying sell Lo Celso over Winks, but you're saying that Lo Celso could be the man to fill that void. He's clearly not.
Well, how do you? No, hold on a second. You don't know if he's clearly not because we have yet to see him play with a good midfield.
Well, I do. He's been here 2.5 years and he hasn't shown it yet. So.
Well, he's been injury prone.
But that's up to him. That's his problem.
But you can't say he's not that guy when he's been injury prone.
But I can't, because what I've seen of him and when he's had the opportunities to do it, he hasn't done it. So I can't say he's not that guy. Just like we say Stevie B isn't good. Just like we say Harry Winks isn't good off what we see. So we can't say he's not that guy if that's what we're seeing.
I think Lo Celso had a good game today, and I think he can definitely improve under Nuno.
And I think there's Philip. How do you feel on this situation?
And I think there's talent in him. I think there's talent in Lo Celso.
Philip, how do you feel in this situation? Would you rather maybe have that? Are we missing that tempo setter, midfield more, or are we missing maybe that center back, for the
Marcelo, I'm beginning to wonder, did we win the match at all today? Did anybody play well? I take criticism of players, but that was a slagging session just there. Every player you mentioned, there was criticism of them. We won the match today. Okay, we might have been a little bit fortunate. we've got the likes of, we have to play Dyer and Sanchez because nobody else, right? They're playing for their places at the minute. They know they're going to be replaced by
in 6 months'
Romero.
time, basically.
In 2 weeks' time, maybe. So like, I mean, I'm all for constructive criticism of players, but I'll give them a chance until we settle down a wee bit and get our first 11 out there. Now we do need a holding midfielder, a creative midfielder. Where are we going to get one? There's nobody out there. We're not going to get one unless there's some. Patrici can come up with some genius from Italy or Spain that we hardly know about and get him in for 10 million. We're not going to get James Ward-Prowse. We're not going to get Maddison. We're not going to get anyone like that. So like we're stuck with what we've got.
Yeah.
The player who should not be mentioned is not going to be playing for us anymore. I think we can all take that as gospel, But no, I think I'm all for constructive criticism, but I just don't like slagging off every player just because we didn't win 6-0 today. We won 1-0.
Oh no, I'm not slagging off every player. I just slagged off Sanchez and Dyer. I think they were both awful. Whenever they had the ball, they just send it long. I thought Taganga had a pretty decent performance. Okay, he got beaten by Traore a few times, but Traore.
I thought Taganga was nowhere as good as he was last week.
No, but I think Traore, his pace will give anybody problem. But I felt like he at least dealt with it pretty well. And I felt like, and also a lot of times he was getting doubled up, which didn't help him. I thought Reguilon had a great game. I thought Højbjerg put in a great performance. I thought Skibby put in a great performance. But they're two holding midfielders. You can't expect them to be, like an Eriksson player creating. I thought Kelly Alley was pretty good. And CVP, even he impressed me. I thought he was very tidy today. So I think the team had a good performance. I just think Dyer and Sanchez did not have that good of a performance.
Well, it really, I suppose, in a way, okay, they've kept clean sheets against probably the most expensive team ever, and a team, okay, that shoots a lot of blanks. All you can do is gauge them on each performance as they go along. I mean, if they keep a clean sheet against Watford next week, which I'm pretty certain they probably will.
So, yeah.
It's going to build their confidence, and they're going to get better and better as things go on. Because one of them at least knows he's for the bench very shortly.
And who knows, Philip? You could be right, actually, with especially maybe if they were to have 3 clean sheets in a row. Certain players, even if they're not great players, sometimes they do have those, almost in a say, one season wonder kind of players. And maybe that could be the case with Sanchez. Maybe this might be, Sanchez's, best season. It could be Moon Boots' best season. But just quickly, before I want to get back to this debate, but let's just get to Paul Markey's super chat here. And he says, notice Sonny played with a hamstring tape on his left leg and was limping after coming off. Have you heard anything on him being injured? What I will say is I saw Nuno's response to it. He seemed to kind of dismiss it, but as well, he didn't really want to give away too much, it seemed like, to the press about it either. I don't know how to take that. I will say, it seemed like Sonny had not too much of a problem coming off the pitch. I do think he probably will be available for the next match against Watford. They're just probably trying to be cautious with him. And I do maybe say with Nuno, maybe he is a bit more cautious with these kind of things when it comes to players' injuries than maybe other managers might be. So that's all I can say, Paul Markey. David, any, injury update on Sonny?
No, look, just that he did go down when they were warming up. He went down the tunnel before the game. So, it cleared. He kind of had a bit of a knock going into the game. But look, he's still, you wouldn't know it, but judging by the performance, he did have a good performance. Look, he wasn't as good as he was last week, but at the end of the day, he still made himself a nuisance. He was still doing the right thing on the ball, still making the right runs, and fair play to him for getting through 70 minutes. If he was carrying a knock, that's digging in, that's digging deep for the team, and that's what we want of our players. And look, again, I think it's one that we're going to have to wait till tomorrow. My fear, looking at it could be a week or two, maybe a couple of weeks out. Maybe I hope not. I don't know anything. But that's just a fear of mine. That it could be. But big up Paul Markey, I really appreciate it. Sorry I don't actually have an answer, but I won't get an answer until it comes out with the club, my man. I don't have any secret agents or any sources telling me anything. Daniel Phillips says, can Chelsea get top 2? Yeah, look, I think everyone fancies between them and City to fight it out, my man. That's what I'd say to that, Daniel. They got Lukaku in today, punished Arsenal, which is always good. So happy days, and I definitely think they'll get top 2 100%. Kev Williams says Lo Celso is a creative midfielder, but has to perform. Yeah, that's another issue. He probably does need to be playing further forward, 100%. Yeah, and look, hopefully he can perform.
He played as a second striker in Real Betis.
Yeah,
and whenever
he plays, that's his best season ever too.
And whenever he played it with Argentina, he played in that similar position. I don't know why managers just don't play him in that attacking midfield position. They just seem always to play him as a number 8, which just doesn't seem like his natural position. Like, it's clear it's not his natural position.
Yeah,
could be true. Yeah, I think that is true, Marcel. I think that is true, but we do find ourselves maybe Lo Celso is the one that we should ride with, but we seem to have so many players that, just, can't fit that 8, position. We just need to find someone that, is willing to step up and fill in that number 8. But Marcelo, I do agree with you. I do feel like a lot of people didn't realize that Lo Celso is practically, with that season with Real Betis, was one of the best number 10s in all of Europe, that season. So
he scored 12 goals or something like that. It was crazy.
The thing is, the problem is whoever recruited him, because if you're not going to recruit him to play in that position, you don't recruit him. That's the problem. So with so far how his career Tottenham has gone, you're not going to fit a system just to specifically fit him in. He is going to have to adapt to try and fit into the midfield role, and hopefully he can do it.
But David, let me ask you this. If someone, for example, scores, 12, 15 goals in a season playing as an attacking midfielder, wouldn't you want to play him over, like, I don't know, like maybe, like Dele seems to be playing more like a number 8, if anything. You know what I mean? Why don't they just switch position? He seems to be wanting to play deeper. Why not just switch their positions? I think with Lo Celso,
because we're playing a flat tree. We're playing a flat tree in midfield. Skip usually holds Højbjerg one side, Dele Alli the other side. So we don't like Dele Alli is box to box. We don't actually have a position to play someone in a cam position. Quickly, I do want to get this super chat in, and then we're going to go back to that debate there, because it was fantastic. Dark Sun G says, last season Liverpool scrapped with 3 points and got top 4. So it's nice to get 3 points, even if we're lackluster. Let's hope for a run and get 18 points. Look, 100%, my man. Teams win the title getting 1-0 wins, and sometimes, they're the ones you have to grind out. And look, at the end of the day, it's just building momentum. It's just a bar the Europa League game. I'd probably isolate that. We were unbeaten. We've played City, we've played Chelsea, we've played Arsenal, we've played Wolves away. We're still unbeaten. So look, there's plenty of positives we can take, 100%. Plenty of positives. At the end of the day, we should be happy. 3 points in the bag. We know there's problems in that, but look, we'll wait for them to arise. Dark Sun G. And look, 3 points is all that matters. And I hope for a run too, my man. I really do, Dark Sun G. Big yourself up, my man. I really, really, really do appreciate the support. Back to you, Jacko.
No, really do appreciate it, Dark Sun G. And 3 points is all that matters. But it also is good, to maybe debate a little bit about, how are we even getting these 3 points? And, are we a bit lucky even to be getting them? So it is always good debate, at the end of the day. But Dark Sun G, I'm in the same boat with you. I couldn't care where they come from. I couldn't care, even if we paid off those 3 points, as long as it's 3 points, as long as, we're going to sleep a bit happier, at night. But going back to that debate, Philip, you were kind of saying something about maybe, they get maybe 3 clean sheets in a row, let's say after Watford, let's just say they get a clean sheet against Watford, Philip. Does that maybe give, Moon Boots and GPS Sanchez, that confidence to maybe become, players that we never considered they could even be? Maybe you're I think you were on a point like that, or maybe I'm misquoting you.
I'm not saying that they're the greatest, they're the solution. They're in situ at the moment. They're our 2 centre backs. And if they keep performing and keeping, I'll rephrase that. If they keep producing clean sheets week after week, or very good performances and a very good goals against ratio, it's making the manager's decision very, very hard. Because you don't generally drop a player who's in form. Okay, I know we've got Romero waiting to come in for one of them. Now I'll give Romero a pass for last Thursday night, but he was a bit shaky now, to put it mildly. And we are going to have disciplinary problems with that guy, because I think he gathers up a lot of cards. So at the moment, I think Eric Dyer, he was on cruise control for the last couple of seasons. He knew he was a Mourinho man favorite, and now he's realized he's got competition. And in all fairness, he mightn't be the greatest centre half in the world. He never will be, but he's actually performing to a level which is pretty acceptable at this moment in time. Okay, we play Chelsea, they put 6 past us, then the whole thing blows up again. But just at the moment, I'd be a believer in if it isn't broken, there's no need to fix it. Just at this moment in time.
Love it.
Absolutely,
Listen,
Marcelo. Yeah, if it's broken, can you not? What do you think? If it's broken, we have to fix it. But in this case, it just seems like we're using broken players that actually are turning out good work. They're actually turning out good results. Despite them being broken players, can they be fixed by, let's say, a certain number of clean sheets in a row?
I'm not gonna lie. I know these guys are not gonna be the guys to get a top four. Like, we do this every time. They have like a good performance, and then people like, it's almost like I don't know. It's almost like we get brainwashed ourselves all over again about Eric Dyer. It's not good enough. He just simply is not good enough. He'll get exposed eventually. His passing is poor. He just hoofs the ball. He's a donkey. If Adama Traore could finish a meal, let alone a goal, it would have been 1-1. It guaranteed. If that was Lukaku, if that was any other player of quality, it would have been 1-1. Let's be real here. He's not going to be a player that's going to get us top four. Eric Dyer is not going to be a player that's going to get us anywhere. He's having this little purple patch that he always has, and I always say this. Stop playing him. I'd rather get Romero in. Okay, maybe he might look a little bit shaky at first, but let him settle in. I'd rather settle in Romero and get him in already, pumping going, because I see potential in Romero. I don't see any potential in Dyer. I haven't seen it in years. Since he signed for Spurs, I haven't seen the potential for the guy. The guy has not improved. This is not me being negative. This is just me being factual. When we're top of the league under Mourinho, I said the same thing about Eric Dyer, and look what happened. He had his little purple patch, and then he went back to the same old, where he gets found out season after season. It's the same thing. Sanchez, he's actually shown me some few things where he's actually improved on. I think like him on the ball, he's a little bit more confident. He still does that, thing where he tackles, he goes to the ground a little bit too easily. It kind of infuriates me, but I think Nuno can work with them, because I do see some potential in Sanchez. And I think with a decent center back, or if we play three at the back, we can use them. But Eric Dyer should not be part of any Spurs plan. This guy is absolutely woeful. He will get found out, and then you will be telling me, Marcelo, you were right. I'm telling you, this guy is absolutely atrocious. He's not a good center back. He's just a big lump. He's just a lump that can get his body on balls. That's all he knows how to do. Not good.
Absolutely, Marcelo. But I think we will get to maybe Philip's last reaction after these super chats on it, and then we will move on to the next questions. But Dolby Skills here saying you can't compare La Liga with the Prem. I think he's talking about when I was saying Gio was one of the best players in Europe that season with Real Betis. In a way, right? You can't compare La Liga with the Prem, but I will say some of the best Premier League players all come from other leagues. So at a certain point, you do have to realize they're having success somewhere else, and they could easily have the same amount of success in the Prem as well. Marcelo was saying he was more of a number 10, a player that played off of the striker over there. We brought him over here. We're having him do entirely different things to what he was doing over at Betis. I think that still isn't too much of an excuse for him. It's just kind of just stating the facts about his position. But yeah, it Dolby Skills, you're absolutely right. I mean, you can't compare. I think the Premier League is much better, but at the same time, lots of players can come from other leagues and find tons of success in the Premier League, which just says a lot about the quality of the other leagues at the same time.
Big up Dolby Skills. Look, for me, I just think La Liga is shit. I really do. I just think every time I watch it, I'll be honest with you.
It's boring. It's boring. I tried watching the Atletico game. I honestly went and actually watched the Serie A. Serie A has actually been really good. I think La Liga is unbearable right now.
It is.
Absolutely. And listen, people that say I'm being harsh on Dyer, I said the same thing last season. People said I was being harsh on him. Soon enough, it's going to come up.
Do you know what it is? I actually think you two guys are actually misunderstanding each other. I think what Philip is saying is why today was positive. Let's talk positive about them. I think that's what Philip is trying to say. Yeah. Genuinely, I think maybe we've all picked up each other wrong. Just quickly,
well, I have positives and negatives. You know, I think it's just as important to also look at the negatives and
I
the
agree.
positives.
No, I agree. Like we do have to maybe, like, there is cause for concern. I fully understand that. Look, I actually understand both of your points, to be honest with you. That's where I am. I actually understand both of the points. HB Pro 84 says too many misplaced passes today for some reason. Yeah, there was a few. Look, it's been the same for the last 2 years, really, kind of just misplaced sloppy passes. But look, hopefully give Nuno time. Give him time, and hopefully we can get that sorted out. I think that is, maybe we just need that man who wants to come looking for the ball. Like I said, the tempo setter will pick it up and kind of engineer things, I think, maybe. I don't know what the answer is, HB Pro 84, but look, just give Nuno time, my man. Give Nuno time. What I'll say is there is 315 watching right now. Make sure you do smash that subscribe button. Make sure you smash that like button as well, guys. And like I said, there's so many in the chat right now. Comments are going mad. If you want to jump the queue, guys, do get in the super chats, and it is a great way to support the channel. But back to Jack, because Jack is the host. So where do you want to go from here, Jack? Do you want to let Philip back in and then move on to the next question?
No, I was going to say, Philip, maybe your final thoughts on this. Are we going to maybe just wait, until maybe Dyer and Sanchez, have this kind of calamitous performance that, Marcelo, is definitely right about, will eventually come? Or should we just kind of take it one game at a time and just, appreciate them, for each performance individually?
Well, I think, what we don't see what goes on in training. We don't know how good Dyer and Sanchez are performing in training. We don't know what Nunes' thinking is on this, really. Just at the moment, he's new. He's only bedding in like a new manager does. Like, okay, there's no doubt about it. One of those two guys is going to be replaced shortly, be it for tactical reasons. We're playing a certain team that Dyer isn't suited for. Say, like when we played Chelsea, I think Romero versus Lukaku could be sparks flying on that one. It may well be for a tactical reason that he'll change the centre backs, and then if Romero does his job, then he's in situ, and it's up to Dyer to get his place back, and that's the way it should be. There should be competition for places from every position on that pitch, and I've no doubt, as I said, Romero is going to come in. He's going to come in probably fairly soon, but I would leave as it stands with the two boys at the minute for Watford next week. I would definitely leave it the same way.
Interesting. I really do agree.
After the international break, God knows what sort of injuries we might have on that. We're going to have so many players away. You just can't legislate for that. And all I will say is I want all our centre backs, be it Rodon, Dyer, Sanchez, Romero, whoever else that comes in, to be on their game, to play to the best of their ability, and let the manager decide which two of them or three of them plays in any particular match. And here endeth the lesson.
I'll say this, Philip. The one big positive thing that I have taken out of this whole week, or Nuno's reign so far at Spurs, is that Nuno has a set of players already that he identified that is part of his team. And he's already identified certain players that are not part of his team, which is something Jose didn't do. And I said it was going to cost Jose his job.
Wow, good point.
I said it was going to cut. Remember, David?
I mean, I'm sure Nuno was looking at the Spurs team when he was asked the job. He looked back on the games last season, and as you say, there are certain players that we're just not going to cut it. We needn't name them. We know who they are, but unfortunately, due to contractual reasons, no other clubs wanting them. We're stuck with them. Yeah,
but he refuses to play them, which is the most important thing.
Fair enough. Let them be squad players. Let them train with the reserves or whatever. Come in for cup games if needs be. But Ndombele is never going to play for Spurs again. And in fact, we'll probably discuss it later. But some of the clubs he's been connected with, I'm shaking my head here.
Yeah, and I'll say this: Nuno said something, and it gave me Pochettino vibes. I'm not even gonna lie. He said, I'm going to pick the players that, like, my job here is to prepare players to play for Spurs, not to convince them to play for Spurs. And I love that quote. He is playing the players that wants to play for him.
In fact, I think he even went more further, and he actually said, I want players to play for the badge, not for the money. Which is absolutely on the money. That is the quote of a guy who's sussed the whole scene out. He knows exactly who he wants. He knows exactly who are the troublemakers, and give him time. It might not be this transfer window, but as you say, we'll never see their name in the match program again, hopefully.
No, he seems to see right through all of it. Yeah, sorry, David.
No, sorry, just quickly. And the thing is, he's friends with Nuno is friends with Poch and Mourinho. So no two better people when some of these players cost him his job to get the ins and outs on. And so like Philip said, like Marcelo was saying with the quote there, you know what I mean? He has it all sussed out straight away. Daniel Phillips here, he has the second toughest league. Again, I'll be honest with you, another league that bores me, Daniel. Look, I'm just a Premier League man. I don't mind watching a bit of Bundesliga at times. I do watch a bit of Celtic at times, but after that, my man. But I will get into watching more, of course, Jack, with the new Flat Cap Eurotalk. We'll be doing watch-alongs and stuff like that, so I'll have to get into watching more of the European football. I kind of tend just to watch highlights more than full games on that, my man. But big up, Daniel. Really appreciate it. And the father and my cousin, they're both in the stream as well. Big yourselves up. Big up, Dylan. But look, move along because we do have a lot of questions to get to. So let's start plowing through some of these questions, Jacko.
No, big up the Harrises, though. Big up the Harris family as well. But Marcelo, we held out for this game, Marcelo. We also held out, for the game against City. And it seemed like even in the last 15 minutes, didn't seem like, our fitness was maybe draining, too much, maybe in comparison to last season. How important do you think maybe these fitness levels are maybe playing into these performances? And maybe is that even maybe the sole difference for why we're actually even coming out with these 1-0s is just the fitness differential?
I gotta say, we're looking fitter and fitter by each game. If you look at the players, they're looking slimmer. They're looking like they have an extra
even
mile.
Even looking slimmer, and he's not playing.
Yeah, I think players look like they have an extra mile on them. They're willing to cover more ground. And also, fitness also comes with attention. When you're tired, defenders, that's when they're most vulnerable. When defenders become tired. And I'll say this about Darian Sanchez. They didn't look tired throughout the whole game, despite the amount of pressure they're on, which was really impressive. So the fitness levels are really big there. And I got to say, Nuno's done a fantastic job with the fitness. I felt like the one thing between City and Wolves is I never felt, when I watched the City games, that we were hanging on against City. I felt like for the first 10 minutes, we were hanging on against City. I think after that, we really grew into the game more and more. And I actually felt like City were actually lucky that we didn't score a couple more on the counters. I thought, we were catching them all the time on the counters, just being a nuisance. While with Wolves, I felt we were hanging on a little bit more. I felt like we struggled a little bit more on the counter against Wolves. But listen, going away against Wolves is always going to be a tough game. And if you look at now, a lot of the away games are going to be really tough because the fans are ready for the match. They're up for it. It's been a year or and some months since they've seen, football. So they're going to come into their home ground loud and proud. And I think every away game is going to be really difficult this season. It's going to be really difficult. So it's a great point. It's a great point in a tough ground that we normally don't, do very well. So I'm not being ungrateful or, too negative. I think it was a great point, and it's 3 points. Fuck it. We did it.
Yeah, maybe, kind of similar to Poch as well as maybe these fitness levels. But also, I would say maybe the fitness levels for me, I think are maybe possibly, the difference between us maybe finishing the game, 1-1 versus 1-0, and maybe even keeping that clean sheet. And Philip, to you, if that's all right, I was thinking, in terms of these fitness levels, is that maybe something that you think is considerably different to last season? Is that maybe the reason why we come out with 6 points? Maybe could you even go that far? What do you maybe notice about the fitness levels being different this season?
The players are actually fit this season.
Is it Nuno? Is it just simply down to just coaching? Is it down to that?
Jose didn't seem to worry about the fitness levels. I don't think we certainly under Poch, we were the fittest team in the Premiership with a double training.
Probably in the world, Philip.
Probably, yeah, maybe. Under Mourinho, I'd say we went right to the other end of the chart. Nuno was obviously seeing what's happened, and then he would have played against Spurs twice last season. He knew when Spurs started to flag in matches, so he knew what to do when he came in. And double training sessions again, and the fitness levels this season are what they should be, immense. And certainly, we're not going to lose any last minute goals. I don't think this season too much anyway, as has happened in the past when we just were out on our feet for the last 15 minutes of matches.
Right.
So no, I'm impressed with it. Whoever his training guys are, they've done a good job. And I'll give credit to Dele Alli here as well. Dele Alli went away and did his own fitness regime in the close season before they even returned for training. So he was nearly up to speed before they came back. And I think it's now showing. Like I predicted Dele Alli would have a good season. So far, I've been proved right. And hopefully he continues to. But no, fitness level is very important, and I'm most impressed the way things have gone.
Yeah, interesting. And also maybe to you, David, on this question, we were kind of ripping, plenty into Dele Alli in terms of, his fitness over the summer. We were kind of, making it, seem to be a bit of an Instagram, motivated fitness regime, not, an actual, getting into the first team, fitness regime. Are we kind of eating our words? Is this team actually a lot fitter than we ever could have expected?
First of all, he was rightly criticised not performing for 2 years. But you have to give them credit where credit is due. At the end of the day, look, he's turned it around. He's starting to prove everyone wrong. In fact, quotes from Nuno today was just complimenting on actually how hard he worked today. He was saying, he worked so hard. He was getting up and down. At the start, he won us the penalty and scored it. But then at the end, he was still running all over the pitch. And it's brilliant to see. I'll be honest, I'm very, very surprised with Dele Alli because I always saw Dele as a more of an attacking player. Although when he did come in under Pochettino first, he was playing in the DM role. But Pochettino moved him further forward. And just for me, I think the work rate he's gone through, look, he ran the most against Man City. He's definitely up there again today with the most kilometres ran. And for me, it's a massive, massive improvement. And even with the run he made to win the penalty, we're starting to get the old Dele Alli back. We are starting to get the old Dele Alli back, them clever runs. And look, as well, the reason why I actually think he's had a very good start to the season is because he is playing in a new role. He's playing a box-to-box midfielder. He's playing on the left-hand side of that tree as well, and he's right-footed. So it's going to take a bit of while for him to get used to it. But back to the fitness, look, Dele Alli has gone off and done his homework. I'm a big believer, and I'm a big fan of people that are willing to realise what the problem is and go off and fix it on themselves. They're like Ronaldo can do it and all that. Other players, if they want to get to that level, that's what they need to do. So big up Dele Alli for doing that. He spotted it. But the fitness has played a massive part because how many times last season, I think we threw away the most leads within the last 15, 20 minutes of last season. And we couldn't keep the ball. We were huffing and puffing. It was all backs to the wall. Everyone dropping deeper and deeper, just trying to hold on. This year with the fitness, over the last 2 games, I actually think we've finished the stronger out of both teams. Against City, it looked like they run out of steam. Today against Wolves, although with the help of the substitution with Harry Kane coming on, we started getting forward and we started getting at them again the last 10 minutes. And for me, I think the fitness is playing a huge part. And that's why we've seen the 2 1-0 victories so far already, because last season you wouldn't have seen that because the fitness levels, we were lasting about 70 minutes and then just dropping. In fact, I would probably say we were lasting until half time and then we were dropping. So look, this guy that's come in, he is actually world-renowned, this fitness trainer. A lot of clubs around Europe wanted him, and he decided to come back, go back with Nuno and take on the project at Tottenham. And we're seen to be getting the results and the rewards for it now. So long may it continue. And I do think, just quickly as well, I do think you will see improvements in every player because me myself, right, I'm carrying a few extra pounds. Now I'm nowhere near at the level I was at when I was 18. You know what I mean? I could skim 4 boys, not be bollocks, put the ball in the back of the net. No problem at 18. Now I can still do it, but I'd be absolutely bollocks after it. I'd be breathing heavy. Yeah. And, I'm not doing it as quick and stuff like that. So when you're not as fit, mistakes do start to happen because you don't want to do that extra bit of running that you should be doing. And when you are fitter, you tend to do that. And you tend to be a lot sharper as well. So I do think you will see a gradual improvement in every player across the squad. How much? I don't know. But I do think you will see standards maybe rise a little.
It also allows you to beat teams that are on paper better than you. I mean, that's how sometimes we used to beat teams that were better than us under Poch. Yeah. Like we did with Real Madrid. If you remember Real Madrid, their lineup was better than ours, but we just beat them because we just kept going at them, constantly hit them on counters.
Would you say, Marcel, that's kind of how back. Is that even in terms of football, is that even how most, teams that are worse than the opposition, less talented than the opposition, is that usually how they kind of have to win, is just by being a bit fitter, a bit stronger, a bit more focused, a bit more disciplined?
I think it's just how the modern football is. I think every top team, the number one thing is fitness nowadays. If you look at it, that's how just the modern football, the modern footballer is just a better athlete than the football back in the old days. It just is. And you have to be in tip-top shape. There's no room more, let's have a pint, let's smoke a little bit, and let's play a game afterwards. Can't do that anymore. You got to be at top fitness.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot of dedication. And I think if you look at like Liverpool, you look at their players, they were super fit, and I hate saying that because I hate Liverpool, but their team is super fit. They don't stop running. You look at Chelsea, they don't stop running. You look at let's say City, don't stop running. Leeds, don't stop. Villa, don't stop running. A lot of those teams, and a lot of times we got beat because of that. Brighton even, they never stopped running. We lost to Brighton because they just outran us. They didn't have a better team than us. They just outran us. So it's very important. Being fit is one of the most important thing for any team. You have to be fit.
Definitely. And Ganesh Prabhu here with the super chat saying it looked like Jose's Spurs going up one early and then hanging on to the lead. If we stick to this, it'll be like last season. Maybe too negative to say after 3 points. Look, Ganesh, if that's how you feel about it, I don't think that's, necessarily the most negative way to approach it. Maybe the difference is that we're saying is that, despite us maybe holding on to a 1-0, 1-0 lead, with the very, very clutched hands, and maybe desperately holding on to that 1-0 lead. I guess what we're saying is the fitness is maybe a major difference, and that fitness can maybe be the difference between us, holding on to the 1-0 lead and maybe us conceding in, let's say, the 89th minute. So it really is, that's, I guess, what we're getting into. But Ganesh, let us know, let us know in the comments what you think. Is it maybe the fitness just that big of a difference this year compared to maybe last year when we were holding on to 1-0 leads in a similar way? But maybe
we also didn't even have a striker. We also did let's forget, people forgetting this. We beat City and Wolves basically with no striker. Let's get it real. Sonny is not a striker. Kane, he showed up in the 70th minute, but you know what I mean?
And changed the game.
He did change the game. We looked actually a lot better. We looked like we created a chance. You put Sonny and Kane in that team, it's a completely different team.
Yeah.
Wolves do not put that much pressure on us compared to, without Kane. Because Sonny and Kane, they complement each other very well. It's a whole different ball game when we have both of them together.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I think the bigger part was a little bit on Nuno, and I don't want to criticize him, but I think he should have went with 3 at the back. I think you should really start thinking about 3 in the back and play a little bit of the wing backs.
We will get into all them questions, Marcelo. We have all them questions, man. Don't worry. Ganesh, look, at the end of the day, it's 3 points. We robbed them. I'm absolutely delighted. Just maybe a bit cautious going forward from there, but we'll see what happens. But big up, Ganesh. Really appreciate the support. Everyone else, guys, make sure if you do want to skip the queue with the comments and stuff like that, and we want to put questions in, or you want us to discuss your comments, guys, get the super chats in. It really is a great way to help support the channel. The comments are flying in. It is hard to get everybody's comment up, but I do keep that agreement with you. I will guarantee I will get your comments up at the very least, guys. But look, Jack, moving on. Let's throw out some of the next questions there, my man.
Absolutely, yeah. And maybe to Philip here, thinking of Hugo Lloris, Philip, he seemed to be very reliable today, seemed to be totally switched on, very on it, maybe consider that, save that he had, that one-on-one with Traore. Marcelo did say, Traore is one that, can't finish a meal, let alone a goal. But was that maybe that save, the defining maybe moment between us maybe being a bit more optimistic and positive than maybe we should be? Was it maybe a world-class save from Hugo, or was just maybe a horrible finish?
Well, I mean, it was an excellent save. Now, maybe if Jimenez had been going through, it might have had a different end result. The fact that it was Traore, who isn't the, I suppose cow's arse and banjo, which springs to mind now when you hear the way he finishes the ball. But good save by Hugo. I think it meant a lot to him too. It was his 300th performance for Spurs today, and to have his second clean sheet in a row. He knows he's got a bit of competition behind him now. He's not just got Joe Hart sitting on the sideline kicking his heels. He's got a goalkeeper who's ambitious. So he's going to have to keep performing to keep the boy at bay. And I was delighted for Hugo today. And like, let's face it, he is a world-class goalkeeper. Like, he's not a World Cup captain and the captain of Spurs for nothing. The guy is a leader. Even though I don't agree with goalkeeper captains, never did. I'll make a grudging exception for Hugo, and I think he'll still be our number one this season. Now, whatever is going to happen about his contract, I mean, he's up at the end of the season. There doesn't seem to be any major talks to renew it. And maybe that's why Galini was brought in, knowing that Hugo is going to be his last season here. If he does go, I think he goes with the gratitude and admiration of pretty much every Spurs fan for the last 8 or 9 years.
And just on the back of that, Philip, do you think that maybe for the longevity and for the career that Lloris has had at Tottenham up to this day, of course, 300 appearances today, I think it's 104 clean sheets in the Premier League as well. Do you think maybe for he hasn't really been respected enough for the service that he's given to Tottenham?
Yeah, it's funny. You always hear goalkeeper. They're talking about how brilliant that new guy Chelsea have got. How brilliant Kepa used to be. De Gea, what do you call him? Edison and all. They all seem to get a mention ahead of Hugo.
Yeah.
So I suppose the fact that he's not playing for a team that's banging on the door of the Champions League or the Premiership every season, but I think he does. Technically, he's better than most of those other goalkeepers. And maybe if one thing you might fault him on is his distribution at times can be a little bit suspect.
His distribution today was excellent, though.
Oh yeah,
I think Galini is improving his distribution. Maybe he's even giving him a few pointers. Maybe he's even making Hugo have to think about his distribution a bit more.
Well, that's what you need. Someone who's pressing you. And if you've got somebody after your job, you're going to do it better. And that's what Hugo is probably doing at this stage, Okay, he'll never be an Alisson who's like an extra midfielder for Liverpool with his clearances. Yeah. No, I have great time for Hugo, and I mean, if he goes, I hope he goes. If he does go, that he goes amicably and with no Harry Kane histrionics. That he goes and that we respect him for his decision to go. If he stays, happy days. But
Yeah, interesting, definitely. And then Easy F here saying Dyer and Sanchez did well. They deserve to be in the team. Maybe, and for Watford, maybe they get another opportunity. I would like to see Romero feature, though. I don't know how we'll feature or put him into the team. I don't really want to just give him, the Pashos games. I'd like to put him into the Premier League as soon as possible. But maybe that is kind of something that maybe Philip was touching on. They've played this well. They've gotten us 2 clean sheets. Maybe they just deserve to be in the team until maybe they have a huge calamitous error that we know, could eventually happen. But David, what do you think? Do they deserve to be in the team next week?
Do you know what? I'm always a firm believer if they're keeping clean sheets, you don't change it. But then again, you don't spend 55 million on a centre back, do you, and not play him. So look, it's one that Nuno's going to have to weigh up from what he sees. Anyway, Romero maybe is injured. He's carrying an injury at the minute. It's a knock. But look, what I would say to that is maybe, do we actually need him against Watford? Do we need him against Pacos? Don't play him. Wait till after the international break. Get him fully fit, and then see if you can get him in the team after that when you're coming up, maybe in the Palace game, and then building up into the Chelsea and Arsenal game. Maybe that's what my solution would be on that. But big up, EZF. I really, really do appreciate the support.
Yep. And really appreciate it, EZF. Same question to you, Marcelo. It was Lloris's, 300th performance for the club. How good of a servant has he been for you? Is it maybe the case that, Lloris maybe hasn't got enough respect that he deserves? What's your thoughts on Lloris? And maybe now that he's, just had his 300th performance and that performance, was a clean sheet.
Legend. That's all I have to say. Legend of Spurs. The only time I've ever been mad at Hugo was the Everton game. I think it was the Everton game where we drew and, he was laughing with the players. That probably will be the only moment I've ever been really mad at Hugo. He's made his fair mistakes, like every player, but what a quality keeper. I mean, literally, especially with Spurs, sometimes we haven't been always so lucky with keepers. And Hugo, has been just an absolute treasure for us, and especially for the price that we got him, and a great servant. And I'm with Bill. I hate goalkeepers as captains. I personally rather not. But man, I'm gonna miss Hugo. If we can renew his contract, 100% I would renew his contract. I would.
Love that. Absolutely love that. And for me as well, honestly, he can stay however long he wants, maybe even become a goalkeeping coach, for us, maybe not in terms of the distribution department, but, at least in terms of the cat-like ability, he definitely could teach plenty of keepers a thing or two. Moving on though, David, it's Sonny. He's walking off a bit gingerly. He seemed to have a bit of tape, on the back of the hammy. I believe it was his left hamstring. What are your thoughts on this? And also Nuno seems to not really forfeit too much information about this, saying that, they'll assess it, when they get the opportunity to. What are your thoughts maybe on Sonny's injury? Is this something that we should be concerned about? Is this something that, maybe even hindered his, most recent performance?
And concerned about, as in long term, I wouldn't say so. It's just, look, maybe again, do we really need him against Watford? I'd say no. I'd say if you start with Harry Kane, you put Bergwijn one side, Lucas the other, I think you'd have enough to see out Watford 100% for sure. If it is an injury, I just hope he's back in time for Chelsea and Arsenal. I really hope he's back in time for them. That's my only hope. And in terms of the Henry's performance, I would say in a way yes, because he was probably maybe thinking of it, but at the same time, he still made his runs in behind. He still had a very good run in behind. He still showed his pace. It didn't look like it was troubling him when he made that run in behind and got the shot off. Yeah. Just couldn't squeeze it in. But yeah, look, he was quiet enough. He wasn't his usual self. So maybe it hindered it just a tad bit. But look, I'm not going to get on his case. I love Sonny. So look, for me, I just wish him the best, and hopefully he is back in time for Chelsea and Arsenal. That's all I hope for, because we need him.
Me as well, David. Me as well. Philip, same question to you. Is this maybe something that hindered his performance? Maybe that bit of the hamstring injury that he seemed to have picked up, right before the game. What do you think? Or do you think maybe it's just a bit of an off game and maybe we're reading too much into it?
Yeah, no, I think he did something definitely before the game, which makes me wonder why, if that was the case, the fitness guys obviously, decided he was fit enough to start the match. But if he was doubtful or he wasn't able to perform at 100%, I would have put Harry Kane on straight away in place of him. He's ready made to play. So why risk things with Son if he's got a hamstring problem? He could miss a couple of matches for us now. And now, I would, if they realised there was a problem early on the match, should have brought Harry on earlier. That'd be my opinion. That being said, you can't fault Son's effort. He obviously wants to play every match. That guy bleeds Spurs blood.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Especially when it comes to his fitness and and comes to his strength and durability. Marcelo, should we be concerned? Maybe about this injury? Do you even think this injury maybe hindered his performance at all?
I think it definitely hindered his performance. I still think he had a decent performance, not his best.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I feel like he held up the ball well,
Yeah, but I think he was just missing Kane. I just think he was missing Kane today. Sonny is world class, but just because you're world class, it doesn't mean you're always going to have the best game. You need other players that you can feed off, And I thought Bergwijn did have a good game. I thought he was tidy, but he's no Harry Kane. Let's be real here, guys. Yeah. When you have Harry Kane in the pitch, it just makes it so much easier to find space, and it's vice versa. Sonny being personally, if Sonny is fit for Watford, I want him and Kane playing, because it's going to make Harry Kane's job easier, and it's going to make Sonny's job easier, and that's how we need those two. They're stars. Let's be real here. They run Spurs, and but yeah, I'm a little bit concerned, but he doesn't. But the thing is, Sonny never really goes out for a long term. I don't think I've ever seen him, with a long-term injury. He usually recovers pretty quick. I remember against United, we thought he wasn't going to play. And then, all of a sudden he turns up, and not only does he play, he scores 2 goals and has a game of his life. So Sonny's an animal. Like Phil said, he bleeds Tottenham. He doesn't care.
Yeah, and maybe Marcelo, just quickly, let's say Son is injured, let's say for maybe just a game or two. Do you maybe see this, form of ours continuing, or do you maybe, see us maybe faltering?
If we have Kane, I still think I agree with David. It's enough to see Watford through. it would make it a lot tougher. I think it would make another scrappy 1-0, maybe 2-0 win, but it would make the game a lot tougher. But if it's Sonny and Kane out, forget about it. We have the best we can hope for against Watford is a draw. We absolutely have no other goal scorers.
Oh, Dane, bring on Dane Mbappe. Bring on Dane Mbappe.
Yeah, Dane Mbappe is the man. Dane Mbappe is the man. I love him. And Philip, you got his name right this time. You got his name right.
Yeah, I've been practicing.
Absolutely love it.
Good pronunciation.
Well, Jack, look, fire away with the next question, my man.
Yeah, David, get ready. Next question's for you here. Tanganga, David, he definitely got turned inside and out multiple times by, Roadrunner Traore. Do you feel like, and he also maybe lost the physical battle in certain moments to Traore as well. Do you see this hurting his confidence, or do you maybe just see this as a game where he's just going to have to take a couple of lessons and maybe just kind of take, this as a bit of a chip on his shoulder?
Do you know what? I think it's a good learning curve for him, to be honest with you. Look, he has the highs of last week behind him. 140 million in his pocket. He just didn't have enough room to squeeze Traore in there today. That's all the problem was. Look, Traore did turn him, twist him inside out. I'll be honest with you. But at the same time, what I was impressed with is the kid got a booking, but he still went through the rest of the game. He didn't make any rash challenges, even though he's an aggressive player. So he clearly has it here switched on. I think maybe, look, this is a learning curve. Look, how often are you going to come up against someone with the pace of Traore and the strength of Traore? How often?
He's difficult.
Yeah, it's a very difficult job. So look, maybe I don't think it will knock his confidence. I think next week we'll see kind of where he's at when we play Watford. I think he'll be up against Ismail Sarr, another player with pace. But no, look, I think Tanganga's made of stronger stuff than that. He's a Tottenham boy. At the end of the day, every time he goes out for this club, he's inspired. And for me, that's enough to get him back up for the Watford game without thinking about this game too much. And look, it's just a learning curve from him. Like I said, he's gone from the highs of last week to, I wouldn't say the lows this week. We still kept the clean sheet. He handled it relatively well. What I think maybe worked against Tanganga was the aggression. I think maybe he just needed to be that bit smarter, maybe just drop off a little bit more. Because when he was coming up tight to Traore was just knocking the ball and going. So, look, but that comes with experience. That just comes with experience and more game time. But, look, I think the kid is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And that's why I nicknamed him Jaffet Manhandler, because he done it against Arsenal. He done it against City. Okay, today wasn't the best, but Ismail Sarr, watch out, because his arse pocket is free, and that's where your money's going.
Definitely. Same question to you, Philip. Was this, performance from Traore, a bit traumatizing, for Tanganga? Maybe is he a bit daunted, by it? Or do you feel like it's just, kind of a learning moment for him, a learning curve? Do you feel like he's not even thinking too much about it? How do you feel like he felt, maybe about that performance against Traore?
I'd say he went into the dressing room after the match. He sat down and he says, the guy that I'm marking today didn't score against me. He didn't do his job. I did mine. I kept him scoreless. So okay, he had a few dodgy moments. And I said after last week's match, there are going to be games when that's going to happen to him, because he's playing against guys that are fast moving. The next week's going to be no different against Watford. It's an absolutely brilliant learning curve. No point in sitting there right back playing against crap wingers who can't even get by you once. You learn nothing there. By playing against the best players, the trickiest players, and the fastest players, he will learn a bag full. I'm going to make a prediction now, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong by this. Jaffet Tanganga will be an England player by the end of this season.
Whoa.
Do you know what? I think
Philip's question to you.
Good
Marcelo,
shout.
Philip's question to you.
We're not exactly falling down with right backs.
Yeah.
We are, I suppose, but he's better than most of them.
Can Tanganga feature for England, Marcelo?
That's going to be tough, especially with, Trent. They got Walker. England has some really good.
But what about right-sided of the three centre-backs, Marcelo, maybe? Because sometimes they do play three centre-backs.
That's true. I think he definitely would. I think he's definitely has more potential than John Stones and the other centre-backs. I think England has some really crap centre-backs other than Maguire. I think Tanganga could definitely get in as a center-back. As a right-back, I don't see him getting in.
Well, the other thing is, you got Trippier's over 30, Walker's over 30. Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't even make the squad. So,
True. No, fair enough, Philip. That's true. I don't know if it's going to be by the end of the season. I think in the future, yeah. And Phil, I think you hit it right on the money. It's going to happen. And I always said this, when you play these young players that have potential and talent, the only thing they lack is experience. And sometimes that's gonna catch them out. And you saw that today. You know, Tanganga never played against a person as fast and strong as Traore. You know, so he's obviously going to struggle because he has no experience. But you know the kid has potential, and you know the more he gets exposed to these levels, the more he's going to up his game. Because Tanganga is not like the Dohertys. He's not like the Ben Davies. He's not like, oh, I got, passed today, I'm just never going to grow. You know Tanganga is going to grow from this. You just know. He's a great talent. And, I always say this. Javon Tungan, when he started at Spurs, he's gotten turned. He used to get turned a couple of times. He used to get, passed through a couple of times. And look what happened. We stuck through with them, and he became one of our best defenders. In my opinion, our top 3 defenders of my generation, at least. So, just stick through with the kid. And, it's like Phil said. Sure, Traore got past him, but he never blew past Tanganga, which is the most important part. Tanganga went back and covered his grounds, which is important, and stopped them from scoring the goals.
Yeah, good point. And also, not often do you come up against a left winger, and not often do you come up against a professional footballer and also a professional decathlon athlete at the same time. I mean, the guy, Traore. Yeah, Traore looks like he's about to be competing in the decathlon with the best, representing Spain. Maybe for the gold medal. It really is ridiculous. That guy could honestly win. David, I think he probably would win at least 3 gold medals, considering that guy's shape. Honestly, he might win the shot put. He might win the 100-meter, and then he also probably could, maybe even win something. Maybe the high jump or the long jump as well. Honestly, especially the aerial duels that he was winning, unbelievable. But David, moving on to maybe Harry Kane, and the reception that Harry Kane was receiving. From the traveling away fans. Do you feel like Harry Kane made a difference coming onto the pitch? And do you feel like maybe even that difference that he made maybe was a symbol of maybe that he does want to play for the club? How do you feel about Harry Kane's reception? How do you feel about Harry Kane coming into the side?
Yeah, just quickly before I do, I may read out the Outlands comments. I don't want to get grounded. I don't want to be told I'm not getting a lift somewhere when I need one. So he says, Traore is a beast, should be in suicide squad, never mind playing for Wolves. Tanganga did well considering. And he also says, has Tanganga got an Irish grandmother or grandfather, an Irish granny, so that we can get him into the squad? I absolutely love it. Hopefully somewhere along the lines we could definitely do with him. Look, what I will say to people is King Kane is back, baby, right? A lot of people over the summer were saying sell him. A lot of people were saying he's not going to be committed this year. But I can tell you now that's firmly gone out the window because, look, it's all well and good just saying easy. At the end of the day, the stats don't lie. He's most assists last season, most goals. And you take that out a team, any team is going to miss it. When he came on today, he changed the game. He done exactly what we were probably missing earlier on in the game, to be honest with you, is someone that will drop in, hold up the ball, which creates space then and allows others to get up the field and we can play people in. And I think he completely changed the course of the way the game was going when he came on. He gave them something to think about. He got us further up the field. We started keeping the ball a little bit better. And for me, as well, people say, is he going to down tools? Well, I watched him at one stage press 3 players back-to-back when the ball was being knocked around and forced them out for throwing. Now, for players down in tools, he ain't going to do that pressing work. He's not going to do the run. It's that simple. So, for me, look, I'm delighted to have him back. He should have scored. Should have got a goal. I don't know.
For the best.
Yeah,
but
look,
that happens to the best.
I'm excited. I'm excited he's back. And for me, I'm at the point now, if he didn't play against City, I think he would have been sold. But the fact that he played, because with Daniel Levy, I can rest assure you, he's not going to risk Harry Kane's ankles for 150 million for a 20-minute cameo against Wolves. He's not going to do it. So if he was going to be sold, I would say he wouldn't even been a part of today. So the fact that he played and the fact that he was in the matchday squad, for me, it tells me he's staying. I think he's ultimately been let down by City as well. To be honest with you, I think he was told we'll stump up the cash. They didn't do it. But look, for me, I think he definitely changed the game. I'm happy to see him back. And look, at the end of the day, him and Son, once we get Son back up there with him, honestly, teams need to fear. Teams need to fear because like on our day with them two players, you can cut anybody apart. They can score some of the most amazing goals. So it gives us a whole new dimension going forward. You put Kane's assists and goals back into the team, along with the clean sheets that we're keeping, and along with how we're seeing out games. We might not be in a position to be able to just sit back and see out a 1-0 win, because with Kane and Son playing together and some of the link-up play they have, you could be 2-3-0 up and you're out of sight and the rest of the game becomes easy. So for me, I think it's very important that he's back. I want Sonny back in beside him. I just want to see the two of them attack teams and do what they've always been done for us. And like I said, add in the clean sheets. We could be in for a good season. Look, we could be in for a good season. That's all I'm going to say. Do I think we're going to win the league? No. But I definitely think we can definitely go and win a cup.
Love that, David. Absolutely love that. Philip, to you, the reception, Harry Kane, received from the traveling away fans, and then his performance, do you feel like, he's still fighting for the badge? Do you feel like he's not downing tools at all? Or maybe you do feel the opposite? And then as well, what about the fan reception that he received?
I think Harry Kane's too honest a footballer to down tools.
Yeah, he couldn't even try if he wanted to.
Now he's at the sharp end of actually ready to play. I don't think he's going to throw his toys out of the pram.
Yeah,
I agree with David there. I mean, I think he has been let down by Manchester City. They haven't come up anywhere near the valuation that Levy has on him. And the only thing that's slightly worrying, man, it could mean absolutely nothing. There's a picture doing the rounds tonight on social media of the Spurs coach going back to London tonight, and Harry Kane sitting away on his own on the coach. Probably means nothing, but then again, it'll be taken up by the press as Harry's been outcast by the rest of the team.
Find anything. It's ridiculous.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, as I said to David earlier, there's a thing going on earlier with Sky Sports have launched an investigation as to why a Manchester City player turned out for Spurs this afternoon. That's what Oh, I don't know. No,
I don't know what to say that.
The reception was great. The reception was great. He got a bit of abuse from the Wolves fans, but you'd expect that. I mean,
as you do. And Marcelo, what do you think? With Harry Kane getting that many minutes, with him even doing a bit of shithousery at a certain point, to waste time. Is he fighting for the badge? And as well, do you feel like he's staying?
No, look, I think he is staying, and I always told David this: if he's willing to stay, do whatever it takes to keep him. Do whatever it takes to keep him. But if we can't keep him, sell him. If he doesn't want to play, sell him. But it looks like he wants to play, and if he wants to stay, I don't know why people aren't happy. I saw some Spurs fans, unhappy that he's willing to stay. They changed his mind. Oh my goodness! I pray every day Kane changes his mind. I was just upset that he didn't show up to training. That's all. But listen, for me, Harry Kane, he's a legend, and he's brought me so much happiness as a supporter, and he's brought me so much pride as a Tottenham fan that I'm willing to forgive him, for this one incident. I mean, for Christ's sake, I've seen players do a lot worse. So, and he's Harry Kane, for fuck's sakes. Give the guy a break. He deserves to be upset. He's human after all. It's almost like we put an unfair expectation on Kane. My only issue is
fans upset that Harry Kane is human.
Yeah. My only thing is that still kind of upsets with me is just I just wish he would just clarify to us whether his plan is to stay or go. I understand he's playing the political game, but I just hate that. That was the one thing that was bugging me. It's like, make up your mind, man. Do you want to go or do you want to stay? Because it's hurting the club. Your decision is hurting the club. But I hope he chooses to stay. I really do. And I mean, he's a baller, man. I mean, he is worth more than Wolves. The chant was real, Harry Kane, he's worth more than Wolves. I mean, that was fantastic. The crowd was fantastic, and they did the right thing, applaud him. Don't boo him. Don't applaud him. I was very happy about that. We want to convince him to stay, not make him an outcast.
And I just would like to add to that as well. I think it's done the whole situation the world of good just to get him back out there in a Spurs shirt. Because, look, there was a lot of animosity towards Harry Kane. Now, and I do think now seeing him back on the field, and for what I see, the reaction's positive. So a lot of the negativity around the situation is starting to wean itself out now, which is good. And it was great to see fans applaud him, singing about him and everything else. It kind of has really kind of, took away the sinister edge to the situation. And now it seems like, everyone's back on side with each other, Harry Kane and the fans. So it can only mean positive things for Tottenham going forward. Guys, 254 people watching. We're going for about another half an hour-ish. Make sure you do smash that like button. Guys, make sure you smash the subscribe button if you're new on the big push to 5K. Let's see if we can end at 4,050 subs today. That'd be nice. Make sure you get over to the new channel as well. And Jack here, if you're enjoying what he has to say at the flatcapeurotalk, smash the subscribe on that. And guys, if you're enjoying the show, why not help out your favorite YouTubers with a super chat or two? It's a great way to help us out, guys. But look, Jacko, next question, my man.
Absolutely. And, Harris Army, let me know in the chat, please, please, please give me your man of the match, from this most recent, game in the chat. Please, please, please give me your man of the match in the chat. And then as well, if you want us to maybe discuss, your choice for man of the match, maybe send it in a super chat if you're generous enough. That would really, really mean a lot to David and I. You don't understand how much it helps us, but as well, we would love to see what the Harris Army in the chat has to say, in terms of their man of the match, and we'll get through all of them. But Philip, who was your man of the match today?
Tough one. I suppose for keeping us in it with the save from Traore, or Hugo Lloris has to be a candidate. But I'm going to give it, I'd say Dele Alli. It's my man of the match.
Yeah, interesting there, Dele. Maybe you want to elaborate on it?
As David knows from the start, I've been a fan of Dele's, and I like what I've seen from him. I mean, this guy that's come back on the verge of ridicule, like
he certainly has.
And he's now running like he's working for that team like he's never worked before.
100%.
I love well said, Philip.
He's got the World Cup. He's probably looking to get a place in the England squad for the World Cup next year, which, fair dues if he gets it. Happy days. But no, I think Dele he's nearly like a new player for us, because let's face it, he hasn't been there for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Just quickly, I know you're a huge Dele fanboy. So are you that much of a fanboy? You might go and get your hair like him.
Well, I'll tell you, David, that would be sort of physically possible at the minute, the length of my hair, Plus, no, I don't think my barber would. Legally he'd refuse to do it. No.
I don't think he could pay him enough, probably, Philip. Yeah, to do it, he probably would say.
I don't think even he'd take that job on. No.
It's probably not safe even for the
more
town.
like Alan Shearer with nothing on, But,
anyway. Just quickly, guys, as well. We'll let whoever wants to answer this one, just for the old lad. He says, now that Ndombele has been sussed, what do you think of Lo Celso? Slow as fuck. I think you might tune in a bit late. There was a good debate earlier on, but look, who wants to take it? Their quick thoughts on Lo Celso. Maybe, look, we'll go to Philip because we know Marcelo, so we'll go to Philip. We'll let Philip take it quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I still have good hopes for Lo Celso. I mean, but again, as Marcelo said earlier, you've got to play him in the right position. No point buying a guy to be the number 10 sitting in behind the forward scoring a dozen goals a season if you play him far right out on the left or the right. So, I mean, okay, I'd say in time, Nuno, once he's got his complete jigsaw put together, I would hope to see more of Lo Celso. We're certainly not going to see Ndombele, and Lo Celso would appear to be the next best alternative if we don't buy some, which I really don't think we're going to,
And I think he's willing to improve Lo Celso. The thing is that, he doesn't seem like a player that seems to be complaining a lot, and he seems to really like being at Spurs, and he's willing to fight for the badge. And, a lot of players, when you play them out of position, they'll go up to the coach and, there'll be this big drama thing. And, like what Ndombele is doing, Mr. Comfort Zone. That's what I'm going to call him. He's a Mr. Comfort Zone. Whenever he doesn't get what he wants, he whines like a little bitch. So, I think Lo Celso, he's a guy that, okay, he's not, you're not playing him in my right position, but he goes on with it. He doesn't complain. And I still think there's use for Lo Celso. I'm not giving up on him yet.
No.
Definitely. No. I feel like there is still definitely going to be, some use
for
him.
With Argentinian spine in the team now.
And even, in the Pashos game, I don't want to defend him, but in the Pashos game, even we did play him as like, the same position that, Højbjerg was playing, which is just maybe, what Marcelo is kind of talking about, just like playing him in positions that are just so foreign to him.
Yeah, true. Absolutely true. Yeah.
Paul Markey says here, comment on the Chelsea and Woolwich fans today.
Chelsea fans must be happy, and then the scum, they must be in tears. I'm not honestly. It's just like every other day, really.
I'll be in tears shortly, laughing at AFTV.
AFTV should be top of the ratings tonight. Mostly Spurs fans watching it.
More views than Coronation Street tonight, Philip. That's for sure.
God, yeah.
100%. Big up Paul Markey. Look, Chelsea fans would say delighted Romelu hitting it off on his debut. And look, Philip, Paul, if we want to know about the Arsenal fans, we have to get over to FTV. I haven't had the privilege getting over there yet to watch it, but I will as soon as we're finished here, my man. Big yourself up, Paul. Really, really appreciate it, my man. Jack, let's get on to the last few questions, my man.
No, definitely. And I would say my man of the match, it's going to be Del Boy. It is going to be Deli. And David, for you, just to answer that question from before, who is your man of the match?
Yeah, me. Look, my man of the match. Look, I think there's 4 candidates for me. I would put definitely Hugo Lloris and Dele Alli at the top of the list. Special mention for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Thought he had a brilliant game in there, along with Ollie Skip. I do think the whole midfield was the basis for the win today. I think they really helped out the midfield by closing up the gaps, not letting people run at Dyer and Sanchez as much as they were last season as well, which has definitely helped. But for me, I think all in all, he's won the penalty, so he's got the assist and the goal. I have to give it to Dele Alli. He's the match winner, but Hugo Lloris's save, it also goes down as a match winner for me. But I think Dele just edges it. Another good performance from Dele Alli.
And then speaking of Dele Alli, Philip, you seem to make great runs, the whole game, and in fact even won a penalty. Do you feel like this is kind of his maybe, I don't know, is this kind of his stomp, into the starting 11 now? Is he maybe going to become maybe just a regular, you would say, into the starting 11? Is this kind of maybe, the reincarnation, you might say, of Dele, especially as a Dele fan, Philip? Are you a bit excited for the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dele is now in the team. Best way of putting it, he's in the team, and he's worked his way into the team. He's not getting it on his reputation. He's getting it on his work rate. He's getting it on his application, his dedication. And I just say there's just been an interview with him there on BBC, and I can see I have him on the background there, and the smile on his face was something else. It's something we haven't seen for a while. He's back enjoying his football again. And Dele Alli that's doing that, God help any team he comes up against, because he's going to give some defenders nightmares if he keeps playing like that this season.
Definitely well said.
Again, but I really do feel he's like a new player to us, and he will be a huge part in our success this season, which hopefully we have some.
Interesting. I actually really do agree. And I'm also glad for all the Dele fanboys as well, to just see, a new future, for their man. But Daniel from Dan THFC, saying Bergwijn was his man of the match. And he's saying this is his season for Stevie B. I will say, it's a bit generous maybe to give, Stevie B the man of the match. I would say, that skill that he had, on the touchline, on the sideline there, I will say, they're still looking for him over there. They're looking out, taking out flashlights, trying to see where he disappeared to. He must have put on an invisibility cloak, where he must have gone. But as well, it's really hard to kind of get away from that many players on that side of the pitch. But like always with Stevie B, it just seems like in the last moment, he just seems incapable of playing that final pass, playing that final ball, or even putting away that final chance. It really just seems to be like a clinical problem for him, maybe even a bit of a chronic problem for him, I would say, where he just seems to have a chronic ability to be able to not finish anything for the lads. But I will say, if Stevie B keeps up these performances in terms of his fitness and putting himself in these chances, it's going to be hard to say no to him, but eventually he's going to have to put it away, I will say. But big yourself up, Dan. Really do appreciate it. And then Paul Markey here, he's saying it was them singing "Stand Up If You Hate Spurs."
Let me get onto that. I have something to say about these.
Yeah, thanks, Marcel.
These Woolwich wandering scumbags. Their season is so shit that they have to sing about Spurs, even when they're losing. They have to find some sort of gratification when they're losing, so they stand up and they wank off the Chelsea fans while they're mugging them. What absolute mugs. All I have to say is, what a night watching Tottenham win tonight. You can't get a point because you're fucking shite.
No, do you know what's sad? The fact that Arsenal have nothing else to celebrate, so they're willing to stand up with Chelsea fans who are their rivals, to say that they hate us. What absolute mugs. Is that really what it's come to? Honestly, I'd say the likes of MAFTV boys must be ashamed of the fan base standing up, and they're losing 2-0 to rivals. It's a disgrace, Paul Markey. It's a disgrace. But look, that's why we banter them on Twitter. We wake up sad. You go and find an Arsenal fan, you banter him, and you're happy again. That's what life is about, Paul Markey. And Brad Matthews, big yourself up, Brad. Hope things are well. Thanks for coming on the pre-match pump up today. Really appreciate it. Says Deli Marley shot the sheriff and the deputy today. Complete Buffalo soldier. Thank you and good night. Well, look, because we do have a drummer in the midst of us, and maybe he might have a musical quote to give back to him. Maybe Philip.
Give me a minute to work one out, David. I just can't think one off the top of my head. I'll come back to you in a minute on that one.
There you are, Matthews. You set Philip a challenge, so his mind is going to be ringing there. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to have to think of one too. Jack, Marcelo, anything you want to respond to Brad here? Brad, it's the first time Super Chat's ever caught me out.
I was thinking of maybe the Tom Dooley song from back then, but that's a lot sadder. Maybe it wouldn't be, in reference to that. But yeah, we're gonna have to brush up maybe on this one, David. And, come up with better Dele Marley references. But also at the same time, we're gonna have to realize that maybe we're experiencing, the good Dele Marley. Maybe the Dele Marley, from before, and now it's just, Dele Alli with just a different haircut. Maybe a bit, stronger, a bit buffer. A bit, just a bit stronger, and maybe that's what, he's turning into, that maybe that buffer, Buffalo soldier, I would say.
Jamaican Woodbines.
All I gotta say is, last season, Dele Alli was just jamming. This season, he turned into a Buffalo soldier. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
You can imagine, though, Brad's lying in bed. He's going off to sleep happy now he's got that win in. I absolutely love it, Brad. You're an absolute legend, my man. I really do appreciate it. Guys, I think we have one question left there, Jack. Is it one or two?
I think it's about one question left, David. And maybe we can do it for the whole panel here. And it was have to do with when Skip got booked, everybody, towards the end of the first half, and left, and Nuno leapt out of his seat, to share his thoughts to the assistant ref. Do you feel like, that passion from Skip and from Nuno is, maybe a bit, let's say, is that passion that we're seeing on the sideline, is it maybe just undermining, the likes of Nuno? David, I'm actually sorry. I'm kind of confused by the question. I know you wrote this one.
The referee today, I forget his name now, but he's the referee that got kicked off the panel a few years ago for giving a goal that never was. Right? Well, today he gave Oliver Skip a booking for a foul that never was. That was a perfect tackle. And I cannot for the life of me understand where the referee, Stuart Atwell, that's the guy's name.
Yeah, Stuart Atwell.
Stuart Atwell. No, I mean, I don't blame him.
His name is Ronald McDonald. Let's get it real.
What's that?
His real name is Ronald McDonald. He's a clown.
Oh, is he related to Ndombele then? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I can understand Nuno getting upset about it because, I mean, that was a perfect tackle. I mean, that put Skip under pressure. He could have been one more bad tackle. We could have been down to 10 men for the rest of the match due to a referee mistake,
Yeah.
And that was a great tackle by Skip. Brilliant.
No. And just quickly, just because the other part of the question was Philip, do you think that do you love to see the passion that Paratici shows on the sideline when
Sorry, David, that's what it was. Sorry, David.
Yeah. Well, providing he's not talking on his phone at the time, he seems to spend most of the time talking to somebody. Yeah, I mean, I love the guy's passion. He gets stuck into things. He really does. I mean, it's as if he's been a Spurs fan all his life.
And
the club has got to him, I think.
100%. I absolutely love it. And just the last part of the question then quickly is look, me as a manager, I would rather Paratici and that other slaphead, what's his name? I can't even remember now. It's no old news. Yeah, Hitchin. I'd rather them be up beside Daniel Levy. Do you think maybe it's undermining Nuno a little bit having them down on the sidelines on the touchline, maybe, Philip?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. They are a team. Yeah, they are a team. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they're part of the coaching team on a different level.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. I think it's funny. Every time you see Daniel Levy, he's rarely got people sitting beside him. He seems to be sitting on his own all the time. Maybe he's self-isolating or something. I don't know.
He'll tell you it's social distancing, Philip, but we all know why.
That's what it is. Yeah. Or maybe he just doesn't want to buy anybody a drink at half time.
I will say though, David. I don't think Nuno. I think they actually, even at the end of the City game, he and Paratici, embraced each other, at a certain point. So I do think they're getting along. But it is a good question in terms of, Paratici and Hitchin. Maybe it is undermining, a bit of his thunder. Maybe just getting in his head a little bit. Them being there, right next to him. Because I will say from last season, Hansi Flick, he had to deal with that guy Sali Madzic. Who's that former Bayern player, and he's one of their directors of football, and he sits with the players and sits with the coaches. And apparently at one point on the team bus for Bayern last year, Hansi Flick screamed towards the back of the bus at Salihamidzic, basically saying, can someone shut that guy up at a certain point? So it is, maybe the case that, not all coaches, like the directors of football. And they had to, do a bit of it, let's say, corporate appeasement, to make it look like it wasn't as big of a deal as it was. So, yeah, I do think Nuno gets along, with Paratici. But, David, you could be right. It's a good question. Maybe it does get in his head a little bit.
Just my thoughts on it. Sorry, go on, Marcelo. Go on.
I'm sorry. No,
go on. Work away.
I don't think it does. I think, honestly, in fact, it's a good sign that you see him and Nuno so close together, because let's be real here. You want your director of football to be friends with the coach. You want them to be on the same page and working together. Because if they're not, because last time Steve Hitchen, when he was under with Mourinho, I barely saw Steve Hitchen next to Mourinho. You only saw Steve Hitchen next to Levy. I don't want my director of football next to Levy. That's how we end up with fucking, Jetson Fernandez. I want my director of football to be next to the manager, because they feed off each other. They give each other ideas. They have a game plan. They're on the same page. You want your director of football to be on the same page as your manager. It's one of the most important things. So, yeah. in my opinion, I love it.
Yeah, 100%. My opinion on it is just interesting because Hugo Lloris was talking after the game, and even he referenced it, and it was kind of like I didn't really understand what he was trying to say. But like, if I'm trying to read between the lines of what he was trying to say, it's like they're there to make sure that what happened last season with the players kind of, even on the back end of Pochettino, where the players kind of start down the tools, acting the clown, not doing what they're supposed to be doing, this, that, and the other, that. They're there to keep them in line, basically. It's another extension of just keeping them in line. I do encourage everybody go and look at Hugo Lloris's comments and just see what you make of it, because it's clearly being made known to the players from what I see that these guys are going to be there keeping an eye on them, and a very close eye on them, whether it be around training or around the matches. So I do encourage everybody to go and check it out. I just thought it was interesting. That was all. Because it's very unusual that a player would mention them unless they have cause to. So definitely something's been made clear to them that, you're not going to be acting there. You're not going to be clowning around anymore. And these guys are watching, and these guys are going to wean you out. You know what I mean? So that's what maybe it seems like to me. So it'll be very interesting. Hugo Lloris was saying basically about, that about keeping up standards, not letting them drop. And that then he went on to Paratici. So it does seem like that they are there. Basically, like, you're going to act, we're going to find who's causing the problems, and we're going to get you gone. So interesting. Just interesting. Everybody should just keep an eye on it. Jerome says, good morning or good evening, lads. Do anyone know what is happening with Roden? I hope he plays on Thursday because he's better than Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Way better.
He picked up an injury in the training session earlier on that day, the little kickabout before the Pacos game. And I'm not sure. They never actually said how long he's out for. They never actually confirmed how long he's out for. But look, I think he is in contention for Thursday. I'm just not sure whether you'll see him start or not, Jerome. That's what I would say to you. Just give me 1 second. I'll just find out. I do have it written down. I'll just find out exactly what is wrong with him there for you. I just have it from a match day notes from yesterday. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so all they said is that he remains sidelined from picking up an injury. That's all they said. That's all that's been put out on it, my man. So no, actually, 100% answer for you. But big up, Jerome. Really appreciate the super chat. Well, I think that's it, Jack. I think that's all the questions.
Yeah, it is all the questions. And also, Jerome, I will say I do hope to see, Rodon, feature for the Pashos game would be an absolute improvement on Cameron Carter-Vickers. Cameron Carter-Vickers, he probably has a better chance, of hitting the air than he does with football. At times it seems like when he's swinging at it, it really does seem like, it's not really a sport. At this point, him maybe even getting this far in football, actually, I will say, honestly, credit to him. Like a lot of these players, they seem to be a bit of frauds. He may be good actors and, in terms of footballers, because I would say Harry Winks is also in that category. But yeah, Cameron Carter-Vickers, I really do not want to see him again, especially considering that performance against Pashos.
He was disgraceful there. But big up, Jerome. I really appreciate the support. Guys, why we just go around and let everyone plug if they want to be followed on Twitter and stuff like that. Make sure if you have enjoyed the stream that you do smash the like. Make sure you smash the subscribe button here. And guys, why people are plugging things, if you have enjoyed the stream, why not throw in a €2 or €3 and just show your appreciation, guys. It really is great support for us. You have no idea how much it really does help us. So look, we'll start with Philip. Philip is on Twitter. Maybe do you want people to maybe follow you on Twitter, Anton?
No, I'm not. I am, but I don't really. I use Twitter just very occasionally. So no, I'm not really pushed about that. I have a YouTube site, but it's only music videos, so it's not really, it's stuff that my band playing in Dublin now and again, So, but it's more there for my own viewing than anybody else's, So no, maybe I'll do one later on, but no, not just at the moment.
No worries. He's firmly tied down to the Irish Hotspur for the moment, 100%.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Big up, Philip. And I want to say thank you this evening for your contribution to the panel. Guys, let us know, what you think of Philip's contribution today. I thought it was fantastic. I almost had to pull him and Marcelo apart at one stage earlier on. I thought it was a great debate. But
it's only friends. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, so it makes for good chat,
No, 100%. That's what it's about. It's all about debates. God, me and Marcelo have many. Believe me, we have many. Me and Alex is another one we have loads. No, it's all healthy. It's all good. But guys,
we're men.
100%.
We can have debates.
100%. Well, guys, put in the comment section. Let Philip know how much you enjoyed him. Marcelo, my man, where can people find you? I think you have one of the greatest Twitter names I've ever seen.
My Twitter name has always been the same. Tagangsta25. The kid. The man himself, the legend. If you want to find me, just type in Tagangsta25. Listen, great win. So happy. The scum are down. They're going to get relegated. Tottenham, onwards and upwards. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely love it, guys, as well. As always, one of your channel favorites here, guys. Get in and let Marcelo know how much you appreciate his contribution and how much you love him. Absolutely brilliant. Marcelo, thank you so much for coming on tonight as well.
Always. No problem.
No, I appreciate it, my man. I appreciate it. And look, Jack, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
No, listen, over at the second channel, David, that's where they can find me. And pretty soon, David, for, some of the upcoming videos, they'll be able to find you there as well, doing some of the European content. Listen to everybody, especially if you're not a Spurs fan and you're watching us tonight, you can go find us over at our second channel. We're going to be doing lots of content over there that's basically talking about plenty of stuff that is outside of Spurs. Releasing tomorrow is going to be my top 6 for all of Europe's top 5 leagues. And I broke that down with Darius from Paxton Road. And I know you guys at the Irish Hotspur love Darius. And so he and I just broke down, our top 6, for Liga, La Liga, Bundesliga, the Premier League. Basically just had a bit of a nerd out, over European football. And honestly, I really enjoyed it. It's a nice short video. Honestly, I think it's about under like 40 or 50 minutes. That's kind of our longer one. But yeah, it's just a good debate, over tons of European football. There's also, which managers I think are going to get sacked. My top young players, that came out as well. But yeah, keep an eye out for that Monday. It's just going to be a video where I'm predicting the top 6. And, and honestly, I think I'm going to do quite well, David.
No, 100%. Look, everybody do get over there. Show the same support you keep showing this channel, the same love. Look, You're going to get some familiar faces that you see on this channel over there too. It's Spurs fans talking about European football. It's a bit of a geek out, to be honest, when you have Darius and Jack. And look, I'm sure maybe we might see Marcelo on there for a watch along or two, if he has nothing else to do. I know Marcelo likes the odd sneaky game in Germany, Italy, or even Spain today.
I watched them all. I honestly, I watched today. I watched the Premier League games. Then I went to watch Serie A. I couldn't watch La Liga. It was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. And David knows I'm a big fan of the Bundesliga. So, I watched them all.
He's a huge fan of the Bundesliga. Huge fan. He watches a lot of games. Mescabar, the channel is called flatcapeurotalk. Go into the description below, my man, and you will find a link to it. It's on YouTube. Just flatcapeurotalk. You'll see it. It's a lovely purple crest on a white background. 100%, my man. You'll see it. And guys, it is going to be a fantastic channel for all you Tottenham fans. If you don't want to be watching the likes of all them other stupid channels out there, make sure you do get over Flat Cap Euro Talk and give some Spurs boys some love.
Or if you even just want your European content, if you want it to be, trusted, maybe from, a Spurs fan, that's what's also good about Flat Cap Euro Talk. It's coming from, a member of the Harris Army. It's coming from the Flat Cap Army. It's coming from David and I. So honestly, if that's where you want your European football content to come from, that's outside of Spurs, might as well get it from a fellow Spurs fan. That's what I would say.
100%. And guys, there's 160 likes on the stream, 202 people watching right now at 11:30 on a Sunday evening. I'm sure some people should be in bed right now at work or school tomorrow. But, make sure you do drop that like button. 200 is kind of the bar we have set for the last while. So let's get it there, guys. 40 is smash it. Aaron Dove says, thanks, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Aaron, my man, I hope you're enjoying yourself in true traditional Irish style. I hope you're having a beer and celebrating that result, my man. But look, guys, what you have coming up here, and I really appreciate the support as well, Aaron. You're a top man, and it's good to see you. It's good to see you back. You haven't been in every day like you were over the lockdown and stuff like that, so it's good to see you back in, my man. I appreciate it. Guys, what you have coming up on here, tomorrow morning we'll be putting out a players rating video. Then tomorrow evening you'll see us back here at 9:30 for the fan show. So any guys who is a channel member, has a white membership or above, the link, you do get priority. The link will be put up early. You guys come on, make sure you have your say. It's what it's about, and it's whatever you want to talk about. We will have questions prepared if you want us to take us to take the lead. But if you want to take the lead, whatever you want to talk about, as long as it's do with Tottenham Hotspurs, our ears are open. So make sure you do come on and join us on that. And then tomorrow I'll tell you what to expect for the rest of the week, as tomorrow is the day for the plans and getting everything together. So guys, look, we're going to end it here. 2 games, 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, 2 goals. Long may it continue. At the end of the day, we're Tottenham Hotspur and we're back, baby. Let's have it. In Nuno we trust, and come on, you Spurs.
In Nuno we trust.
Nuno.